This is my first time ever playing Pokemon Blue. Yes, I know I was overleveled, but it was very fun. So if you all like it, then I'll do more in the future, but, better. Enjoy. I start off with naming myself Winner, because that's what's going to happen, and I name my rival Loser, because again, that's what's going to happen. I pick Bulbasaur because he's very helpful for the first 2 gyms, and I decide to name him Salad, because grass. And then Loser decides to go for a fight because he's a loser. It's a mix of tackles and scratches and the occasional growl, which Loser does at the wrong times and costs him the game. I'm not sure exactly what Loser was thinking using growl like this, but let's be honest, it's Gen 1 AI. I catch a Caterpie and named it Slimy, because that's what all bugs are, and immediately evolve him into a Metapod through grinding. And then I caught a Weedle and named him Jerome, because I couldn't think of anything else, and I almost immediately evolved him into a Beedrill. Salad evolved, and I went right into the gym with Brock. He starts out with his Geodude, and me of course with Salad. I do a Vine Whip for a 2-hit KO, Brock sends in his Onix, and I get a 1-hit KO. And just like that, the first badge is mine. I catch a Pidgey and named him Larry. I then buy a Magikarp for 500 and name him Goldfish. I have a fight with Team Rocket at Mount Moon, but that kills Jerome and Larry. Drop their corpse into the PC, and Goldfish evolved into a Gyarados. I got the Helix fossil, and moving right along to Misty, and I have a Paris. I guess I have a Paris named Spore, so I switch it out into Salad and Seed the Staryu. Then just Vine Whip for a 2-hit KO. Misty sends out Starmie, and I think about seeding it, but I just go for it. Vine Whip or the 3-hit KO. And that's the second badge. Loser decides to annoy me, and I take out the Pidgeotto with Goldfish in 3 moves. I then try to decide what I'm doing and send out Slimy for some reason, then realize I've made a mistake, so I put the Abra to sleep and just tackle it to death. I decide to keep Slimy in and attempt to repeat the same thing and just confusion the Rattata to death. Loser sends out a joke of a Charmeleon because Goldfish 1-hit KOs him. And then I catch a Bellsprout, and I name it Astolfo because Bellsprout is based on the pitcher plant, which is a trap plant. And Astolfo, the well-known anime character, is also a trap. This is where Spore dies, and Loser comes to annoy me right after, which at this point is not even a fight. Moving on, I catch a Diglett, and I named it Chad, as that's what it's going to be, because the next gym fight is the Electric Gym. So, Lieutenant Surge starts out with a Voltorb, and I have Salad out. I just seed him and accidentally use Tackle, but then I finish the job with a couple of Vine Whips. He then sends out his Pikachu, and I still choose to keep in Salad, and I see the Pikachu and Vine Whip to death. Now I finally bring out Chad for the Raichu, and use Dig for the 1-hit KO. I catch a Drowsy, name it Sleepy, but I never use it in my party, and I catch a Vulpix and name it Dale. Chad evolves into a Dugtrio, which is very Chad. Time for the 4th gym, and of course I lead with Dale here, as it is a grass-type gym. I go for an Ember, but get poison powdered. I go for another Ember, and here we go with the broke Gen 1 Wrap that just continues while I get hurt with poison. I send out Slimy and go for a Confusion 2 times and finish it off. I decide to keep Slimy in, and Tangela goes for a Constrict, which is basically Diet Wrap again while I'm poisoned. So I switch out into Goldfish for a tank Pokemon and finish the Tangela with an Ice Beam, and then I use Ice Beam again for a 2-hit KO, and that's the 4th badge. I go grab the Eevee and I name it Lloyd, and immediately fight Giovanni. Spoiler alert, it's not that hard of a fight. He sends out an Onix, I immediately switch to Goldfish for Water Gun, keep him in, take out his Rhyhorn with the same thing for his last Pokemon. It doesn't hit that hard, which is a surprise, but I finish it off with a 2-hit KO. Loser then shows up at the Pokemon Tower, sends out his Loser Pidgeotto. I lead with my Slimy and go for 2 Confusions, which kills it. I switch to Goldfish and Ice Beam the Execute. Loser sends out his Gyarados, so I send in Salad for the Razor Leaf. Gets almost a 1-hit KO, but I go for a Mega Drain just to get some health back. I switch out Slimy for the Kadabra for some reason, and switch to Dale for a Confuse Ray. But then I realize it's only a status move, but it got confused, so that's good. I switch out back to Goldfish and Water Gun Loser's pathetic Charmeleon. And now I can get the Pokeflute. Now it's time for yet another annoying battle with our rival. I Ice Beam the Pidgeot for almost a 1-hit KO, but make it a 2, and then I keep Goldfish in for the Ice Beam, which crits. I think about swapping and eventually swap to Lloyd. I should probably mention that Chad died, but I don't have the footage. I evolved Dale into Ninetales, and Salad also evolved. But would you look at that, his Charizard got destroyed by Hydro Pump. And another fight with Giovanni, which isn't going to be any harder than the last, but he has a Nidorino this time, which I destroy with a Psychic, and then I swap into Salad for the Razor Leaf and land a crit. Swap out for Goldfish for the Hydro Pump and get the 1-hit KO and finish the fight off, staying with Goldfish and a Hydro Pump. Astolfo evolved as well. Time to fight Sabrina. I start off with an Ice Beam, but the enemy uses Disable, so I miss the Hydro Pump, but eventually I make a hit. I swap to Lloyd and use Pin Missile while the enemy tries to confuse me, but I finish him off. I swap to Dale for a Flamethrower, and this isn't even a fight at this point, but I swap back to Lloyd for the Pin Missile and get the one-hit KO. Moving right on to the next gym, Koga starts off with his Coughing, and I use Psychic, which one-shots, and I keep Slimy in, and use another Psychic. And another Coughing lets me send in Dale for the Flamethrower, so I decide to keep Dale in and finish the gym off with 2 Flamethrowers, and the badge is mine. Moving right on, did you know you can glitch yourself in a bike? Well, that's how. Anyways, I caught a Spearow for transportation, and then I brought the scientist the Helix fossil, I taught Salad Solar Beam, and I found the secret key. Now it's time to fight Blaine. So Goldfish is going to be an MVP here. I use Surf for a one-hit KO, use another Surf for another one-hit KO, and can we guess what I do next? That's right, I use Surf for a one-hit KO, and I finish the gym off with a one-hit KO, and I teach Dale Fire Blast. I face Giovanni for the last time, so I destroy the Rhyhorn with a Surf for a one-hit KO. I keep Goldfish in for the Surf, which, again, one-hit KOs. I again Surf for another one-hit KO. I actually swap out into Salad for the Solar Beam, which takes a turn to charge, but unfortunately, I only get a 2-hit KO. But I am able to Solar Beam his Rhydon for a one-hit KO, which finishes the fight. So I leave my Pokemon at the daycare before the Elite Four, and would you look at that, I run into Loser, which I was actually nervous about before the fight, but it went just fine. I took care of his Pidgeot with Thunder, swap out into Goldfish for the Hydro Pump, and get the one-hit KO. I think about it for a good while for some reason, but I swap into Dale for a Fire Blast, and it one-shots. I send Lloyd back in to take care of it with a Thunder, and keep Lloyd in for the Pin Missile, which is unfortunately only a 2-hit KO. I finish his Charizard off with a Hydro Pump, because what else is going to happen? Time for the first Elite Four, which I didn't know what to expect at first, but I went ahead and lead with Lloyd and Thunder for a one-hit KO. Cloyster gets sent out, and I miss a shot, but no worries, because look at that damage, it's not doing anything, and I hit the Thunder and feint the enemy. I think about what to do, but I keep Lloyd in, and Thunder the Slowbro for a one-hit KO. I again think about it, but decide to swap out for Dale and Fire Blast for a crit and kill the Jinx. I think a lot this match, and I swap out to Lloyd for the Lapras and Thunder it for the one-hit KO and beat the first Elite Four. Now it's time to face the next Elite Four, and I live with Goldfish and surf my way to victory. With the first one-hit KO, I go ahead and swap out for Slimy for the Psychic, which again, one-hit KOs. I keep Slimy in for the same thing, and it's no surprise, I swap back to Goldfish to handle the Onix. I keep in Goldfish and just use Hyper Beam for some reason, but I'm able to finish the match in 2 hits and on to the next fight with the Ghost types. I lead with Slimy, and then I go ahead and use Psychic, but not before getting hit. I go for it again and outspeed, and I feint the Gengar. I swap out for Lloyd to Thunder the Golbat, and I hit one-hit KO. Agatha sends out Haunter, so I send out Slimy and try to put it to sleep, but it didn't work, and I just Psychic it twice for the 2-hit KO. I keep it up with the Psychics and take the Snake out. Take a good hit from Gengar, but not before taking half of its health and then using a full heal. And I do get confused, but I am able to land a Psychic and I win the match. He sends out his Gyarados, but I one-hit it with a Thunder. He sends out Dragonair and I send out Goldfish for the Ice Beam, and again, one-shot it. He sends another one, but I also kill that one with Ice Beam. Lent sends out his Aerodactyl and I send out Lloyd for the Thunder, which one-hit KOs. Lent sends out his Dragonite and I finish off the match with an Ice Beam for the one-hit KO. And the Elite Four is done. Now on to Loser, which isn't even a fight. I just Ice Beam the Pidgeot. He sends out the only threat, but I Pin Missile it and take a little damage, but then defeat him. I swap out into Salad for the Solar Beam, and I do get the one-hit KO. I swap into Dale and give a good Flamethrower for almost a one-hit KO, but I do finish him off with a 2-hit. I swap back into Lloyd for a Thunder and take out the Gyarados, but I swap into Goldfish and do one more Surf, and that's it. And that's it. I've become champion and beat this Loser. Professor Oak tells me I am a winner like I didn't already know, but I decided to take this one step further because I wanted to, and I caught a Mewtwo. I name it Garbage, and that's how I beat Pokemon Blue. Subscribe.